It's very cool. Oh my gosh. Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday.
In Atlanta, it's happening nationwide. No Kings. What does No Kings protest mean?
You know, I think it means that the Dow is over 50,000. So that's what we should be paying attention to right now, okay? But really, we're sick and tired of this administration and all the wrongs that they're doing. It makes us sick. Most American people feel the same way. We need to take to the streets and do something about it. We're out here making fun of these insane people that currently have power in the White House because you have to clown fascists. They hate it. It hurts their ego, and it gets people going.
From Charlotte, you said, are you going to go to any more of these protests?
Yes, we're probably going to go to the next one in Charlotte. Yes, we're going to try and make a rounds today, making a couple more.
It's
a time for our voice to be heard right now. We're tired of what's happening, and it's time for our voice to be heard.
Oh, man. Yeah, we got to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. No Kings, which doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to get into that in a whole nother video. My goodness. What I really want to get into is this clip from NewsNation where what needs to be said is actually said. You know, where we are in this country is truly sad. It really is. I mean, people have absolutely lost their minds. I mean, all they care about is party over everything else. I mean, it's like if it ain't got anything to do with the Democrat Party, they don't want anything to do with it. And it is wild to watch some of this happen. But anyway, I want to hop into this clip from NewsNation and a woman by the name of Katie Pavlik. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. But before we hop into that, make sure you guys smack that like button. I would really appreciate it. It helps out with the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. But with that being said, let's dive in.
All right, millions of people are expected to take to the streets at a more than 3,000 events this weekend as part of tomorrow's No Kings protest. Organizers say Trump wants to rule over us as a tyrant, and tomorrow's flagship event is happening in Minneapolis, where Jane Fonda, Bruce Springsteen, and Bernie Sanders, and also Tim Walz are slated to appear. The usual suspects. Joining us now is Ezra Levin, co-executive director of Indivisible and one of the organizers behind the No Kings protest. Ezra, great to see you. Thanks for coming on tonight. I appreciate it.
Great to be talking, Katie.
Thank you. So, first of all, let's start off with the name of these protests. No Kings. Here in America, we don't have kings. We have presidents elected by the people. So what's up with that title?
Wait for it.
Yeah, look, I agree. We should just have presidents. And you can disagree with presidents. I disagree with plenty of presidents of both parties. But what we don't accept in America are rulers who try to trample on our constitutional rights. I think one of the beautiful things about tomorrow is this is Americans standing up in blue states, in red states, in purple states, in rural areas, in urban areas, in just about every nook and cranny of this country. 95% of Americans are within about an hour of their local No Kings protests. And what they're doing, Katie, is exercising their First Amendment rights. What a thing to celebrate in this country, that we have First Amendment rights that we can actually exercise.
Yeah, First Amendment's great. And in a country without a king, we actually have the First Amendment and can go exercise our rights appropriately.
You see where this is going? I didn't want to, spoil the surprise here too much ahead of time. But yeah, she is absolutely going to cook this man. As you just saw there, just the opening salvo, right? Yeah, the First Amendment is amazing. You know, in a which you would have in a country with no king. It's beautiful, but it continues. It gets worse.
If it's not about having actual king, as we can agree on, but about policies implemented by our president, were the No Kings protests, for example, when the COVID-19 vaccine mandate was issued by the Biden administration, one that forced Americans to take the vaccine under duress or to lose their jobs? Many people were fired until the Supreme Court struck it down. I didn't see you guys out there during that administration.
So what we're responding to right now more than anything else is two things.
Notice he didn't answer the question. Where were you guys when the Biden administration? I mean, I remember this. I mean, it literally went from, hey, all of these doctors and nurses are absolute heroes. They're on the front lines. They're on the front lines helping to save lives. Wow, yeah. To, if you don't get this jab, you're fired. You lose your job. I remember watching a video of a nurse like crying, bawling, like, yo, I don't, because she was going to get fired because she didn't want to get the shot, which I thought was just absolutely ridiculous. You went from saying that these people were absolute heroes to firing them because they didn't want to get the jab. But I thought it was my body, my choice. What happened to that? These people are absolute hypocrites, man. But I'm gonna let him keep going because he doesn't make any sense, and she absolutely cooks him.
Else is two things. One, it is a secret police force that is terrorizing American communities, in some cases killing Americans, as they did in the Twin Cities. We had ICE murder Renee Good, and we had Border Patrol murderer Alex Preddy in the streets while they were exercising their First Amendment rights. That's one thing that we're seeing these millions and millions of people responding to. And the second thing that's driving a lot of turnout right now is this unpopular, illegal, unconstitutional war with Iran that Trump picked, even though members of his own party didn't want it. Certainly independents and Democrats don't want it. And everybody wants it to end because it's driving up our prices and costing Americans just billions of dollars. That's something that somebody other than a president does. That's something that an authoritarian tries to do. Go over the Constitution to pick fights with foreign countries that his own constituents don't want.
Well,
first off, take note that he didn't answer the question that she originally asked. Where were you guys when the Biden administration was doing all of this? He chose to skip over it. But now, listen to her cook him since he wanted to bring up the Iran war.
Constituents don't want.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Iran has been picking a fight with the United States for 47 years. They've killed thousands of Americans. They fund Hezbollah, which of course was it's the largest terrorist organization in the world, killed more Americans before 9/11 than any other terrorist organization in the entire globe. You had October 7th, where dozens of Americans were murdered by Hamas, which is funded by Iran, missiles shot at bases all over the Middle East trying to kill American soldiers. So that's why the president is taking this on. Also, they're trying to get a nuclear weapon, and of course hold the entire Middle East hostage. But I want to ask you this about what you said about the so-called secret police. I assume you're talking about immigration and customs enforcement. Your group is all about making sure that you can take on ICE. You have ICE out rallies as well. I understand the issues with Alex Preddy and Renee Good. There are ongoing investigations with what happened there. But generally speaking, when it comes to immigration and customs enforcement, we've talked to the father the father of a young woman named Katie last night, whose daughter was killed by an illegal alien inside the country. Sheridan Gorman is a Loyola University student who was murdered by a Venezuelan illegal alien in the country who had been arrested before, let out by Chicago. The list goes on and on. Stephanie Minter in Virginia, again, murdered at a bus stop by an illegal alien. So do you think we shouldn't have any immigration and customs enforcement inside the country to make sure that violent illegal criminals are not murdering Americans in the streets?
Can I respond to both points that you raised? You raised a whole bunch of interesting points about Iran. I think this is exactly why Congress has the power to declare war. I would love a debate about whether there should be military action in Iran. Again, it is Congress's job, not the president's, Congress's job to declare war. Trump himself is calling this a war. He is acting unconstitutionally in waging this war. This is, again, a war that the vast majority of Americans did not want, that the majority of Americans do not want to continue paying for. We want this president to focus on making our lives better, not picking fights that we don't want. And if there is going to be a war, it's Congress's job to do that, Katie. That's in the Constitution.
The Congress hasn't declared a war since the 1940s. And I assume you had the same complaints when Barack Obama was also droning Americans overseas, and he was declaring war on places like Libya, which was a war that dragged out a lot longer than what's happening in Iran. And I would say also that the president is improving the lives of Americans by making sure that we are not held hostage by a nuclear Iran. But I want to ask you one more question before we get going.
To that point, that's a fine opinion to have, Katie. It's a minority opinion. You are in the minority holding that opinion. It's an unpopular war that most Americans want out of. That's just according to objective polling. You can have your own.
Picking and choosing what he responds to. Didn't want to address the whole Obama thing. As a matter of fact, I would have brought up the fact that Nancy Pelosi literally stood up and said that Obama didn't need congressional approval to do what he was doing in Libya. So if that was the case, then it's the same case now. Just saying. And I've got the video footage, right? As a matter of fact, I think I dropped that as a YouTube short. If one of y'all remember that clip, did I drop that as a YouTube short? I believe I did. Nancy Pelosi saying that Barack Obama didn't need congressional approval to bomb the crap out of Libya. I'm pretty sure I did.
Opinions.
I
but
just wanna,
unfortunately, the facts don't care about your opinion, Katie. Let's stick to the facts.
the facts are exactly what I just talked about. But before you go, I just want to ask you this question. You talked a whole lot about how Chuck Schumer is a weak leader. There's been a lot of talk about how the Democratic Party is now shifting to the left. You're having this No Kings protest tomorrow. You want it to be the biggest protest in the history of the country. Is there anybody who's not welcome at these protests?
Oh, I think it's really, really important that this is welcome to anybody in the country who opposes monarchical rule and authoritarianism. And this is absolutely not a rally for Kamala Harris voters or for Democrats. This is a rally for Republicans and independents and Democrats and people who don't care about the political system, don't think it works for them. We actually don't have to agree on what the future policy agenda in 2029 ought to be, to say in one clear voice, in the 250th anniversary of the founding of this country, a country founded on rejecting authoritarian rule.
I'm glad that we agree that the founding of this country was a good thing. Because it used to be that the left thought we were a colonial power and that we hate America. But I'm just curious, does including everybody mean that you're welcoming groups like Communist USA, who has been at these rallies? You have the Democratic Socialists of America, who talked about violence against groups that they say it's necessary at some point. What does the training look like in terms of allowing these people into these rallies, if everybody's welcome?
Allowing people to exercise their First Amendment rights? Are you saying in order to exercise your First Amendment rights, you have to commit to a certain ideology?
I'm just curious who you're welcoming in, given that there are training materials from these groups that advocate for violence.
Oh, I want to be very clear. This is foundationally nonviolent. And that's not just me saying this. This isn't our first rodeo, Katie. Great. This is the third No Kings protest. We had 5 million people out last June. We had 7 million people out last October. Yeah. There are 3,300 events all over the country. So far, there have been no incidents of violence. I will tell you, I'm glad that you're worried about political violence, because on January 6th, there was a lot of political violence supported by the folks on your side. And I think that's right. I'm glad that you're bringing it up, though, because we do need to call out political violence. And they were prosecuted and held
in prison. So Ezra Levin, thank you very much for joining us and making your case.
By the president.
Because the justice system was tyrannical and overcharged most of the people for simple trespassing. Ezra Levin, great to see you. Great. Good luck tomorrow. Hope the weather's okay.
I will give him credit. He answered the questions as well as you could while being a Democrat, but it ain't good enough. It ain't good enough. Anybody with half of a brain cell left to rub together saw how terrible that interview genuinely was. And the fact that he didn't want to answer the question about Libya. He didn't want to answer the question about the Biden administration overstepping. He didn't want to answer a number of questions that contradicted what he was saying here. The fact also the fact that they're able to protest proves that there's no king. It proves it. There is no king. You know, and here's also the funny part. They're doing all of this protesting, and guess who's still their president? The guy you saw at the very beginning of this video, Donald J. Trump, is still the president. Like, can anybody... This is an honest question. Maybe it's a stupid question. I don't know. Can anybody explain to me what is the point of these protests? What's the point of protesting, period? Can anybody explain to me, like, what is the point? Like, I understand maybe back in the day, you know, the 40s, the 50s, you know, and further back, cool. But like today, in today's time, what is the point of protesting? Can anybody explain to me any type of benefit? Because I mean, if you want to garner attention, you can do that online. Very, very easily. You can do that online. So what is the point? I'm confused. Somebody let me know in the comments, please. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Make sure you guys smack that like button before you go. And stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.